Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for being here and joining me for Deborah Kobylt Live. Excited to have my guest in studio today, Elissa Goodman. Elissa, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
In front of our large studio audience. Elissa is a holistic nutritionist and cleanse expert. She is the author of this terrific book that I've read, Cancer Hacks. We're going to get into why she wrote this. And also, she produces these incredible soup cleanses. This is just one of the many, I don't know, what would you call this?
That's a tonic.
Tonics that gets delivered to the home if you're fortunate enough to live here in LA where you are. But she's got a whole bunch of other stuff for those of you folks who aren't in LA and across the country. Elissa, again, I'm so grateful that you are here. And a shout out to my friend Linda for introducing me to you. Because I told her that I really needed to do something. And she said, you know what? Call Elissa. So this is just great. I've got to know, you've got a very successful business, but how did you get into doing this? You know, I know you've been asked this before, but I find your story really inspiring.
Thank you. Thank you. It means a lot coming from you.
Yeah.
As another entrepreneur, successful woman. But I really, in a nutshell, growing up, I was not a very healthy kid. And my immune system was a bit compromised. But I was raised in a state of, just type A, got to get everything done. Yep. And everybody knows that, just like fight or flight mode, and also very much got to rise to the top of the ladder of businesses and professionally. And it was really hard on me. I was always sick growing up. And I moved.
It's stress.
The stress is a killer. And emotionally, I wasn't really feeling like good enough because I had two parents who were very successful. So to keep up with that as well, I think even at an early age, I kind of tapped into that mindset. It was hard. And I moved to New York and lived there for 10 years and worked at the very fast pace in the marketing advertising business. Didn't eat very well, was always sick as well. Sugar, caffeine, overdid it all.
Did you gain weight or were you always so you're very slender?
I was heavier. I was definitely a lot heavier. I fought my weight for years and years. And then basically I met my husband in New York and I said, I can't live like this anymore. This is too stressful and we need to move west. And it was such a funny story at the time. He goes, what, to New Jersey? I
love that. I love that. Across the pond over to New Jersey. Oh, right. That's the best.
And I'm like, no, honey, we're moving to Los Angeles. He had never been.
What did he do that he could just pick up and go?
He couldn't really. He was actually working for ABC TV in sales and marketing, but lo and behold, a job opened up. We manifested and a job opened up. We moved. And then the next thing I knew, I had landed my dream job with Vogue magazine. But 6 months into Vogue, I was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma.
And that was when you were living out here in LA?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, I was 32. And we had just moved out here. And really, bottom line, it was a hard move because LA isn't the easiest place to meet people. And also the job was really rough. Talk about high standards, Vogue magazine at the top of its field. And it was really like I had put myself into another situation where it wasn't so relaxing and easy.
Yeah, man. Deadlines. You've got so much going on there.
Absolutely.
A lot of pressure to keep up with everything.
Devil Wears Prada. Girlfriend. It was all the way. It was.
Who were you? Were you the lady in the office, or were you the one that was getting the coat thrown at her? Which one
I was
you?
the one getting the coat thrown at her. So yes, definitely. So got diagnosed, but before that, I had 4 miscarriages. So I was, struggling with fertility issues. I had chronic fatigue. I mean, I had a lot of little sleep issues, anxiety, all my life. So, and digestion stuff. So there was a lot of stuff going on. But it was interesting, but thank God I didn't get pregnant with this diagnosis prior. So I got diagnosed and I went to all the doctors and basically they were all saying the same thing about chemo, radiation, got to freeze your eggs because you don't have kids yet. Maybe do you have a donor for a stem cell transplant? They hadn't even staged the cancer yet. And I was like feeling like, whoa. This is so freaking scary. We were way down ahead of ourselves in every way, as well as, cancer. You think you're going to die when you hear that word still today.
At the age of 32. Yeah, you do. I mean, there's different kinds of cancers, and you know this. no two are alike.
No.
But wait a minute, you've gone through a whole lot more than this.
So the cancer,
wow.
I dove into the health and wellness then. I did radiation. I didn't do chemo. My oncologist basically fired me because I wouldn't do his protocol. Found somebody who would do the radiation, and then I just started juicing, and I went vegan, and I did colonics, I did acupuncture, I went to a naturopath. I mean, LA had a lot to offer. It was a beautiful thing. So,
interesting how you moved here
Yes.
at that time. I wonder if you would have found that in New York. It's there, but the movement is more so out
I'm
here,
not sure.
especially then.
Right. Exactly.
You know?
It is more out here.
Yeah.
So I was
Wow.
able to heal. But then I went on to have 2 girls. They're 24 and 21 today. And
Wow. What did you have when you? Wow.
Look
at you.
I am old. So basically, then my husband was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma 11 years after my diagnosis. So he went the whole Western route, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with medicine.
No, you're
or
not making
Western.
a judgment.
Yeah.
I get it.
But he died of fungal pneumonia a year and a half after his diagnosis.
Okay. So you have lymphoma.
Yeah, I had Hodgkin's lymphoma.
And he has non-Hodgkin's.
Non-Hodgkin's. I mean, what are the
You
chances?
survived.
Yes.
He did not.
Yes.
And here you are with 2 girls, a cancer survivor. Sadly, your husband passed away not really of the cancer,
No.
but of the after effects.
Of the treatment and the after effects, yeah.
And what did this do? This must have spun you.
It did. It did.
Where?
It was so frightening because I thought, what the heck am I going to do with my life? And I'm going to be a single parent, and all those things go through your mind. Well, I have to sell the house. He was the breadwinner. It's just like, do I have to go back to work, back into that stressful world? And, what are my girls going to think? They're just traumatized. I'm traumatized. They have 2 parents who have had cancer. So that was so frightening. And it took me a couple years to get my feet back on the ground.
Yeah, grief is just a whole nother
Right.
thing. You should probably write about that too, because you've had your share of it.
Yeah. And we still, the 3 of us deal with PTSD from it. I mean, anytime anybody in the family gets sick or any friends, something happens to them, we go right into
trigger.
that mode. It's a trigger. But 2 years later, I went back to school and I got certified in Eastern and Western nutrition. So Ayurvedic, Chinese, I did all the Western modalities. I did herbal remedies. I mean, I learned about all the foods. I learned about supplements. It was a fabulous program in Beverly Hills for 2 years. And I really did that just for us. Like, I needed to get me healthy and I needed to get the girls healthy. And I needed to also figure out how to deal with their trauma.
How did you make money while you were doing this? You were a
didn't.
single mom.
Yeah, I didn't. I was really living off of what we had savings-wise.
That's scary.
And then I
Gosh,
ended up,
Elissa.
I know. Then I ended up selling the house after I graduated. And right when I graduated, I didn't think I was going to go into a career to be a holistic nutritionist. But a friend brought Cafe Gratitude down from San Francisco, and she said, will you put a healthy eating program together, like a cleanse? And I was like, what is a cleanse? Like what? But their food is healthy, so it was easy.
Cafe Gratitude, for folks who don't know, is
A vegan restaurant in Los Angeles and I don't know if it's still in San Francisco, but it's LA, based in San Diego, Newport. It's a great restaurant.
I want you to explain cleanse, and I want you to explain the kind of food in Cafe Gratitude, because if you live somewhere where they may not have certain types of food the way we do here in LA,
Right.
you're probably like, oh God, Cafe Gratitude, another cleanse. Does that mean I'm, drinking broth and water all day and starving? And the answer is
No.
yeah.
It's my cleanse, the way I believe in it.
Yeah.
Our body naturally cleanses and detoxes. It mostly does that at night. So liver and everything, kidneys, everything is working at night, detoxing the toxins out of our body. We are very toxic.
So should we drink a lot of water before we go to bed, or how do you help it?
You do. I mean, you got to sleep. We have to sleep deep. We have to get to bed at 10 because 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. are the really prime time when the body is resetting and rejuvenating. But a lot of us don't go to bed at 10. We go to bed at midnight, right? 1. I mean, we lose that time. But 10 o'clock is crucial. In the old days when we didn't have electricity, we went to bed when the sun went down, right? Melatonin kicked in. Melatonin is the anti-cancer.
Right.
So that was really...
It is?
It is. It's so...
I thought it was just the sleep thing.
No, it's very involved in anti-cancer. If you don't have enough melatonin, your chances could be higher. There are a lot of factors that go into getting cancer.
I didn't know that.
Melatonin is really important for anti-cancer.
As is sleep.
As is sleep.
As is melatonin.
As is water, you were saying,
Yeah.
just when you wake up, your body's dehydrated. So you need 16 ounces minimum when you wake up. We jump right into our coffee or our tea and we're dehydrated.
That's me. I try so hard. My friends who are incredibly healthy, and I have no one to blame if I don't feel well but myself.
Right.
Because whether you like it or not, just get the water. I'm trying to now put I have lots of lemons in my yard. I try and put lemons in and anything healthy. A lemon, a lime, because I don't naturally love water.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Most people say that too. They're
It's
tired
tough.
of water too.
You're tired of it. I don't like it in plastic bottles either, to be honest. I love the good glass stuff
Glass.
that you serve all your things in, by the way. It tastes
Plastic
better.
is not good. Right.
No, but having said that,
a lot of people ask me this question, but we just need good filtered water. We need
Yeah.
to filter out some of the chemicals, especially the fluoride. There's certain chemicals in our water. We can get our water tested all over the country from, different places easily and see what's in them and just get a good filter. It doesn't have to be
you mean like a
fancy.
Brita type filter?
It could be just
or,
a Brita.
Or
yeah.
one on your faucet? What
Either
do you suggest?
Either one. I have both. I personally have both. I have reverse osmosis. And I also have a filter on the house for the shower because the chlorine is pretty toxic.
So you've gone full circle with this.
I have.
No, but I respect that.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a walking testament to someone who wasn't well.
Yeah.
And you decided to take full charge because it's not just one area. It's everything. And then if
Yeah.
you're going to do it, why not? Why not make the water seeping into your pores in your body healthier? I'm with you.
It's the basics. It's not like about expensive, supplements and powders, even though I love them. I do love all that stuff. But it really is. It's the sleep. It's getting hydrated. It's eating real food. It's going back to what your grandmother would recognize or your great-grandmother would recognize, depending on how old you are.
Girl, I'm with you all the way there because I remember I would go to I told you I had an Italian family and everybody else was going to ShopRite back in New Jersey.
Yeah.
And we would go to the little Italian market in Newark, which was a little bit of a drive from
Yeah.
where I grew up. And I'm like, why do we have to go here? My mother would say, because it's fresh. It comes from Uncle Charlie's market, which is
Yeah.
true, her
Yeah.
sister's husband. So
Yeah.
they lived the way we now are trying to by going to farmers markets every weekend.
They did.
I do my best to do that and get my
Yeah.
stuff there and know the farm where it came from. I'm trying.
They knew something. They went to bed earlier. Well, we didn't have all the distractions we do today. And they maybe didn't have as much stress as we do today. I mean, we put extra stress on ourselves, and that is a factor. I mean, with the cancer stuff, there is a book that I recommend to a lot of my cancer clients. It's called Radical Remission. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
A radical.
No, it's Radical Remission. It's
Radical
by Kelly
Remission.
Turner.
Okay.
And she did her PhD for 10 years, and she actually interviewed stage 4 cancer cases. And she found out how they healed. None of them healed with Western. They all healed with holistic methods and Eastern. And out of the 9 modalities that she came up with over these 10 years, 8 were emotional. And then 1 was supplements and 1 was food. It was
Wow.
stress and trauma and just really things that we have some control over, but we just don't tap into enough for ourselves.
I don't make New Year's resolutions, but the one I did make to myself this year was one word: willpower. And that's not just over food, but the willpower to say no to anything that's not good for me. And the willpower to say yes to stuff that I may not want, like the water, and get it in there. So
How are you doing with that?
I'm doing okay.
Yeah.
Better than I thought I would, but
Good.
not as good as I should.
Congratulations.
But then I'm trying to go easy on myself because then I'll stress myself out. So
Yeah.
it is within our power to turn it off. And I think
is.
we are of a particular generation where we were doing it all and having it all, and gosh, how wasteful.
Right.
And I think a lot of younger people coming up behind us, like in their 20s, for example, early 30s, I don't think they're doing that. They just sort of watched people ahead of them and
Yeah.
thought, I don't want that. They're stressed out, not healthy. So
Yes.
then bring us back for a moment to a cleanse. What's a
Okay.
cleanse if somebody who wants to do that?
Do a cleanse.
Yeah.
So I produced this cleanse for Cafe Gratitude. I also produced a cleanse for M Cafe, which is a macrobiotic restaurant in LA. Fabulous because it's more how I eat. It's a little bit of fish, a little bit of tofu, and then it's hot and cold foods where Cafe Gratitude's vegan and a lot of raw stuff. I did something for Erewhon, which is a natural food market in LA.
Oh, I love that place.
I know, it's
There's one right near me and I love it.
I know,
Yeah.
it's great. Too expensive when you go in there and you just buy everything you want to see on the shelves, but it's also overwhelming in terms of the health stuff because you don't know what you should be buying. But so then I decided, a lot of my clients were like, could you cook for me? And I'm not a chef and I'm not a caterer, that kind of thing. And I was like, wow, I'm doing all these cleanses for everybody else. Why don't I do one for myself and cook and deliver it? So 4 years ago, I started out doing soups, just soups actually, and tonics, which you're drinking still.
Your soups are so rich.
I love soup. Like, my idea of a cleanse is basically getting nutrients at a cellular level is crucial. We are not eating enough vegetables. We're also not eating enough fruit because people are saying too much sugar. But fruit is the fountain of youth.
Yeah, but that's natural. The fructose is natural sugars.
You got it.
People just mistake what that means.
Yeah.
Not the stuff that you're pouring on.
Right.
But I think, look, if it comes out of the ground off a tree, how bad can it be for you?
It's not bad.
It's there for a reason.
Yeah. So it really is soups are what get nutrients into you at a cellular level. I also am a big juicer. So juicing greens without fruit, never fruit, is very much of a blood purifier.
Is there a juicer you'd recommend?
Yes.
Juicers can be frightening.
Yes.
You look at them, they're
Juicing
large.
itself can be frightening.
I am a typical person. I'll pull out I don't want to bring up brands, okay? But I'll pull it out of the box and I'll go, oh God, now what do I do with it? They're just big and cumbersome and I don't think, do I take the skin off?
Right.
Is there one that you recommend
Yeah.
that's just kind of simple?
Easy.
Tell me.
It's Breville, Breville, and it's a Cold Fountain Plus is the name of the brand. It's like about $170 on Amazon, and it's super easy. You just throw in all the vegetables. You don't have to the whole lemon, the whole cucumber.
Oh, that's my style.
And I do simple things like I could do cucumber, celery, lemon, ginger, romaine.
Is that the one where it takes the skin and just deposits it off to the side?
Yeah.
It's a very clever machine.
Yes.
I have to
very
tell
easy,
you.
very clever. Yeah. It is a life. It's not a meal replacement, but what it is a liquid vitamin and mineral and a blood purifier. So if we can get the nutrients into our cells, we can push out these toxins from our organs and our tissues.
So when you say at a cellular level, that means, because sometimes when we're chewing our food, it's complicated just getting deep into the cellular level. When you juice, it's a little easier to get absorbed into the bloodstream.
Absolutely.
So
same with the soups.
Yeah, the soups as well. Your soups are dense, and by the way, I mean delicious.
They're hearty.
And they're hearty and they're good. And I don't know if it's a lentil one that you make. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
That's my personal favorite. If you want to just throw in an extra and take some, I love that one.
Yeah.
It's very hearty.
Yeah.
And is there one? It's greenish. What's that made
There's
of?
a lot. We do different soups every quarter.
I noticed that.
So we have a broccoli, arugula one. I'm trying to think of what we have this time. We have a celery root one. We have a golden vegetable that has we do butternut squash and we do lentils and chickpeas and we try to go seasonally as much as we can. But I'm a foodie and the soups have to taste good and the salads. We have two dressings with the salad. So I felt I added in the salads in the last couple of years because I felt like people really wanted to chew rather than just do the soups. And I think that was a nice addition. We have a homemade protein bar too that we're going to start selling because people are asking us for it. It's so easy to make.
I had that on the way here in the car, and the other half is sitting in the car waiting for me.
Smart.
I need you to know, these are my little cheats. I'll take your little bar with me. I'll have a little, and have a little later as a treat. They are so good.
Thank you.
Getting back to how can people do this at home? If they're not ordering from you, how can they do it at home?
You're right. I have a 7-day online cleanse that I just launched 2 weeks ago. It is very similar to the soup cleanse. We picked all our favorite soups and our favorite salads. It's so easy to make. It's easy. Couldn't be easier.
That's the key to me, and I know because I looked this stuff up.
Right.
It's easy to make. Somebody like me could do it as well.
Right.
Yeah.
And you can prepare the food on Sunday. So you can have it for the week, and take it to the office and have it at home. And that we try to make it just really easy. And, your body can reset in 5 days. So if you take sugar, gluten, dairy, GMO, processed foods out of your diet for 5 days, your body can reset. It doesn't take that long. So that's the whole idea is what I'm trying to get across to people is it doesn't take a lot. If you just can take those inflammatory foods out and add in antioxidants and, anti-inflammatory foods, you're kind of golden.
I'm going to ask you a personal question. What do you think is good for someone with inflammation? And I told you I've come down now with arthritis because of all the marathoning and skating in my life. And I'm like, how did this happen?
Right.
So now I'm trying to eat foods that aren't as inflammatory. What do you suggest for somebody like me?
That is just what I was saying. You
Yeah.
know, watching your sugar intake. We're only supposed to have 25 grams of extra sugar a day. So if you, let's say in LA, we do these juices with apple and there are 18 grams of sugar in that green juice. Then they have a protein bar and there's probably like 10 grams of sugar in that protein bar, or 8 if you're lucky. So you're already at your sugar allotment. And then, of course, that is, you know, you've just started your day. So sugar is a killer. Dairy is a killer.
Yeah.
Like, it's so inflammatory. Casein is so hard to break down. So dairy is a no-go. Gluten is
Gluten's
a no-go.
a killer for me. The minute I have it, it's like,
yes. And you just watch those things. And then when you get these foods into your cells, you know, that helps the cells replicate and duplicate in a healthy way. So that's really what I mean, there's so many ways to go about this. I mean, I love intermittent fasting as well, where you give your digestive system a break.
How long?
For 16 hours, 14 to 16
14.
hours.
So let's say you don't eat after 8.
Right.
So then you won't eat again until 10 or even noon the next day. Can you put water? Can you put this in it?
You can have liquids. You can have a juice. You can have the tonic.
This is so good. I will keep it with me throughout the day. What's in this? I know there's lemon.
I know, that's a fun drink that I made up. It's aloe vera. It's coconut kefir. It's fermented coconut water, which is full of probiotics. It's a liquid probiotic that's in there. It's lemon, ginger, cayenne.
I taste the cayenne ever so slightly, and it makes it so good.
I just do a little because I'm not a big, cayenne does bother me if it's too much. And then we put love water. That's such an LA thing.
It is very LA, but it seems to work for her, so then it's going to work for me.
It's all about the love. It's all about the self-love.
What do? You just like blow a kiss to the love water?
It's been blessed by a shaman, from a place that alkaline water that has been actually blessed.
I'm all over it. I'm all over it because it's worked for you. It's working for me. Yeah. And I have other friends who have done it, and they said, Deborah, I've tried everything. You make it a little foolproof, and in your 7-day diet reset program, it's the same thing.
Yeah,
easy. That's what it is. People need to make it easy, and you can live anywhere and find the ingredients. I'm a big proponent of farmers markets. They are everywhere, even in the winter. I have friends living in Minnesota, and they have the little closed-in farmers market. You can go and get your stuff naturally.
Absolutely. That's the best place to go. And a lot of places, these stores have frozen organic. I mean, if you're, going to make the soups, you can get the frozen organic because it gets picked and it gets, flash frozen right away, so the nutrients are intact. So.
I told you I didn't even know about that, so that's really great. Frozen organic stuff to put in there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just really, as much as you can. I'm an 80-20 girl. I'm not always good. I love a shot of tequila. I love, my guacamole and chips. I mean, I came from Arizona, so
I'm a pizza cheater.
Right, pizza, pasta. Who doesn't love that?
Oh, I cheat with pizza. Something awful last week, and I was so mad at myself. It was like putting a bowl of drugs in front of me, and I don't do drugs, so that was my drug. And I thought, get it away. What do you do when you've cheated?
I don't beat myself up. That is the one thing. And you can cheat and get yourself back on the wagon the next day. You absolutely can. So, but if we beat ourselves up, that's just more stress on our body.
No, you can't. It was great
We're not
while
perfect.
it lasted. It was so good while it lasted.
Right. It tasted good. We're not perfect.
I felt it the next day. The sodium from that, I felt it on my lips. And I thought, all right.
The lips look good.
My lips looked great, but my body didn't feel well. It's all about balance.
It is. It is. It's about simplicity and balance and going back to the basics. And the biggest thing with all this, I mean, I just went into remission for Hashimoto's and hypothyroidism after 20 plus years. That's a whole other show. But I did it with all of this. And then I lowered my toxin loads a little bit more with herbs. So, but what the biggest thing for me with the Hashimoto's hypothyroidism was really tapping into the lack of self-love I had for myself. I grew up and didn't really know how to love myself at the true essence. That is a huge issue for my clients who have illnesses and health issues, because if we don't know how to really tap in and love ourselves for wherever we are at this moment, it's tricky.
And go easy.
Yeah.
You know, I also think women think about that a lot more. I rarely am in a conversation with a man who goes, I don't love myself enough. I just don't know guys who do that. So sometimes I look at men and I think, what are you doing that maybe I should be doing instead of thinking I gotta love myself more? I'm trying to go to a state where I just give myself a break. So I hope you guys will do that too.
Yeah.
And just try and be as healthy as we can.
Right.
But the self-love thing, that's real too. I
know.
mean, if you like who you are in there, and even if you don't, just, right?
Right. Because everyone I ask who comes in, it's like, do you love where you're at? Are you in a good relationship? Was life good to you? I mean, a lot of times they would say no. So, I mean, but it doesn't mean that you have to continue that way. That's what I try to tell people. I thought my destiny was going to be an unhealthy woman forever. I never felt good and never felt great. So it isn't. I feel great today, and I'm 58, and I feel like I want to conquer the world and help whoever I can. I just want people to know that these illnesses, cancer, autoimmune, whatever it is, diabetes, rheumatoid arthritis, it's not your destiny.
Right. And love yourself, but go easy on yourself. Yeah. And just try with food. So how can people read up about you first? If they're a little timid, they go to what? ElissaGoodman.com?
You got it.
What can they find there?
So each week I write a health tip. So all kinds of health tips. Also, I do a new recipe each week because, like I said, I love food. So there's years of health tips and recipes. I'm on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, of course. And on my Insta stories, I do health tips a lot during the week. I do shopping tours of what to buy at these stores and what not to buy. So
yeah, you're a real inspiration. But you've had a lot of loss in your life. How are you doing now personally?
The loss is always going to be there. So I have to, I'm not, like we were talking about, I'm so not perfect in the way. Sometimes I dip into sadness and dip into a little depression and anxiety because of what I've gone through. But I mean, overall, I know how to get myself out. Same with the food. I just know how to get myself back on track if I've had too much to eat or drink that's not good. And same with the emotions. I mean, the emotional component is so huge for us, and we have to let go of, the things that have happened somehow in our life that haven't been good.
But you must be proud of yourself, though, because I just was listening carefully, and you said, I know how to get myself back.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
You've taught yourself how to get back to where you should be, to feel the balance that makes you feel good. So
yeah.
I do think that's within all of us.
It is.
You've been through a lot. You're not just this adorable, perky person sitting next to me. You've been through a lot to get here. And I always like to tell people that. It's like, wash away the veneer. A lot went into it,
A lot went into it, and I wouldn't take any of it back.
No.
Like, I mean, it was such a hard road, Deborah. I mean, I can't even believe when I think about it, but it was all worth it.
Yeah, now you're here today.
Yeah.
I mean, of course.
With you.
and
really talking to you.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You inspire me. So thank you. And I mean that. And that's why I'm going to continue to eat and drink what you've been sending to my home. So thank you very much. ElissaGoodman.com. Please pick up her book, Cancer Hacks, a holistic guide to overcoming your fears and healing cancer. And it's not only about cancer, it's about how to really set yourself back, how to get yourself in balance.
Absolutely.
You're working on another book real quickly before I let you go. What is that?
Autoimmune hacks.
Autoimmune hacks. When's
How
that
to
coming
heal
out?
from, it's probably going to be next year.
Next year.
Yeah.
It takes time. It's
It
a lot
does
of
take
research.
time.
No, it's a lot of research.
A lot.
You can't just put out a book. There's a lot of research involved.
Right.
So
Right, yeah.
thank you. ElissaGoodman.com and Elissa Goodman everywhere on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. You give tips on YouTube as well.
Forgot about my YouTube.
Yeah,
too.
I'll remember for you. And ElissaGoodman.com. Thank you so much. We really I had a great time with you. We were laughing a lot before the cameras were rolling here today. So we'll just do it again. Anyway,
Exactly.
Thanks for being here.
Anytime.
And in terms of our show, you can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and then on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and anywhere else that you get your podcasts. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you next time.